Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Madonna, and in today's video, I'm actually making something a little more different to the videos I usually create, but I figured I wanted to do like a chit chat get ready with me video. So these videos are super popular on TikTok. I see like a bunch of people do their makeup and then they just say like random facts about themselves. I've seen a few YouTube videos about this, but I wanted to make one too because I feel like I haven't really talked much about myself ever since I started this YouTube channel, and that being said, I kind of just like went through making these videos and I feel like you guys don't really know a lot about me, and I don't know if that's, you know, a good or a bad thing or not, but I'm about to do my makeup right now and I thought, why not do a sit down talk get ready with me video, because like I mentioned before, I've not made a video like this in any way. I mean, I have done get ready with me's, but I've never really talked to you guys and like sat down and just like chatted. So hence why I'm making this video. But before we get into this video, I'd really appreciate if you guys hit that big red subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up because it'll really help me out and it'll really make my day. But yeah, I don't really want to make this intro super long just because I'm going to be talking a lot throughout this video. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right on into it. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining what I do for my makeup while I film this video so you guys can kind of know what products I'm using. So the first thing I'm going to be using is this e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I don't really know if it works. I don't really use primer, but I figured why not? I'm doing a full get ready with me, so let's just do it. Alright, so let's begin. As you guys know, my name is Madonna. My last name is Frost, so my full name is Madonna Frost. I've gotten compliments about my name before. I grew up hating my name. I don't really know why. I kind of hated how different it was, but as I've gotten older, it's kind of like one of the things that you like grow to love. So, I don't know, I can't really hate on it too much. My mom's a huge Madonna fan, so hence why I'm named Madonna. And I was born and raised in England. I was about 30 minutes outside of London, and no one really knows the city which I grew up in, so I never really bother saying it just because it's kind of like no one has heard of it, you know? So I lived there for 8 years of my life. I moved over here when I was in the 4th grade, and if you guys don't know, well, most of you guys actually don't know. The people that actually know me and watch my videos, they know this, but I have 2 accents, which might sound weird. It definitely does, actually, and the reason being is that I have a British accent, which is where I talk to my relatives, my friends, you know, family, whatever, in England, and then I also have an American accent, which is what I use to talk to you guys. And the reason being for that is because when I first moved over here in the 4th grade, no one understood me. I had such a thick accent that every time I would talk, 9 times out of 10, people would always ask me to like repeat what I said, and I didn't really feel like I fit in, so I'd always find myself altering the words that I would say to kind of accommodate to how, you know, American people would say it. So I'd kind of just like alter my words, and then I've started to do it more and more as I've been growing up out here in America, and I kind of just developed a separate accent without even realizing it and like trying to do it on purpose. So that's why that is. Also, next I'm going to be using a little bit of concealer. I'm going to be using the Yves Saint Laurent All Hours Concealer, and I'm just going to be putting this underneath my eyes. Oh, I have 2 little brothers. I have a 5-year-old brother, he just turned 5 yesterday, and I also have an 11-year-old brother, which you guys have met before. He's in a couple of my videos, and you guys always like just see him pop in and out of some videos, so you guys are really familiar with him. But the other guy, I don't know, I don't really record him that much, so he's not really in a lot of my videos. I'm just gonna start off with the basics. My favorite color is pink. Well, I have 2 favorite colors. I like pink and red. I've always just preferred to choose those colors over anything else, so. And my favorite song is What Once Was by Hers. That song has been my all-time favorite for like a couple years now, and ever since I got my license, I heard that song for the first time and I fell in love with it. It is one song that I will always play, that I have never gotten bored of. And honestly, I don't think I ever will, to be honest. It is such a good song, and I don't know, it's just, I've never really liked a song that much before. Also, real quick, if you guys hear any background noise, there's construction going on outside of my house, so ignore it. And I lived in California. As you guys know, I recently just moved here to Florida, like not too long ago, I want to say about a month. And honestly, I don't really know how to feel about it yet. I haven't made any friends out here, and which isn't really, you know, it's not a terrible thing. I would like to have a few more friends out here, but in California I only had a couple friends. It's not really much of a difference that has been made. I'm also going to be setting my concealer with the Fit Me powder. This is by Maybelline. But yeah, I really did enjoy my life out in California. I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoy my life out here. But that's only because I've only been here for like, you know, a month. So, but as I was saying, I do enjoy my life out in California. I did enjoy it a lot more than my life out here. But that honestly, I feel like it just comes with time. I will eventually enjoy it more over here than I enjoyed California, but I had a really good job out in California. I do miss it a lot. All of the guys that I worked with, they were the most, you know, amazing people I'd ever met, and I really do miss them a lot. But it's like one of those things, you know, I was gonna quit eventually, so either way, if I were to quit, you know, now or in like 3 months or, you know, 6 months, whenever, it's still gonna hurt a little bit, so, you know, had to get it over with at some point, right? Now I'm gonna be doing a little bit of blush. I got this new Morphe blush. This is the Blush Balm in Wild Wine, and I really like this color. It's like a mauve kind of color, and I really like how it looks. It actually does match my shirt a little bit. And to go along with a little more about me, one of my biggest dreams is to become an actress. It's something I haven't really pursued as much anymore because I kind of gave up on it. It's kind of bad to say it. It's still something that's like always in the back of my head that I want to do. But since I'm turning 20 this year, it's kind of like one of those things you have to start really early off in the industry to be able to really make something of it. And I do blame myself for not pushing myself enough in that way. But it's always like, I wouldn't say it's a secret talent that I have, but it is something I really enjoy to do. I really love acting. I love performing in front of people. And I really just love the idea of like playing a completely different person other than myself. I don't know, I feel like, you know, there's so much you can do with acting. You can portray so many different characters and stuff like that. I've always just loved the idea of it. But it's like something that's always kind of going to be there. But after acting, I do plan on pursuing YouTube a lot more. I am really trying with my YouTube channel. This is something I've actually enjoyed, which is why I've been doing it for like, you know, 8 months already. I really love making videos and stuff for you guys. I love putting my life out there. I love being inspired. I love maybe inspiring, and I love the idea that people can watch me. And even on the audience side, me, when I watch other people, I really like to see like what people do with their life. It might sound a little nosy, but for me, I really just like, you know, seeing what other people are doing. So that's kind of why I wanted to create my own YouTube channel. Now I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I am using the Benefit Gimme Brow. I also don't know what shade this is in. I think it's 3.5, but it doesn't say it on here because it's kind of like worn throughout the months. But yeah, another goal I have for the future is to do a podcast. I have been obsessed with podcasts for almost a year now, and the reason I've been obsessed is because I listen to Emma Chamberlain's podcast. I know it sounds super cliche because everyone listens to that podcast. If you like listen to her actual podcast, she has a lot to say, and it's really surprising. Like, she has so much wisdom for a 21-year-old, and I respect that so much. I really look up to her, and that is because I listen to her podcast, and just listening to it makes me feel really good. And she always has the right words to say about everything, and that has encouraged me to like listen to more and more podcasts, and I have just really grown to love it. And I just thought to myself one day, like, I kind of want to do this too. I want to spread my word out there, and I don't really have too much of a word right now. I mean, I'm 19 years old. How much really experience and wisdom can I have? But I want to give it a try. Maybe in the next couple years or so or something, I'll actually end up filming one. But yeah, that's something I've actually wanted to do for a while. Other than acting, a few of my hobbies consist of playing the ukulele. I really like to sing, and it kind of goes hand in hand together. I started playing the ukulele seriously when I was about, I want to say 17. So not that long. Honestly, it's been a couple years. And I've been trying to practice more and more because it's something I really want to get good at. I feel like learning any type of like instrument, it's such a cool thing to learn and be able to master. And yeah, I do plan on learning the guitar soon. I want to get a guitar first. That is the first step. But I'm asking for one for Christmas. I don't really like to ask for things for Christmas, but if anything, if I were to get money for Christmas or something like that, I'd want to spend that toward a guitar. I don't know, I really, really like them. I love how it sounds, and I feel like sometimes the ukulele can be a little pitchy, and I like the more like deeper sound of the guitar, if that makes sense. So honestly, right now my makeup is kind of out of order. I honestly forgot like the order I do my makeup in because I'm like multitasking and like talking and stuff. So we're just gonna do it how I feel today. I'm now gonna go in with a bit of bronzer. This is the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. It's not super pigmented, which I don't know if I like or hate, but I'm honestly not that good at bronzer, so it's probably for the better, to be honest. And honestly, I have no idea what else to talk about. I guess I could go a little deep and talk about insecurities. So I feel like everyone has their own insecurities and flaws that they have in their eyes. And I personally believe that, like, you know, no one is perfect. You know, there's always a saying like, oh, like, you're so perfect, you look great. But I feel like everyone has their own doubts about themselves, and me personally, I have doubts about... I don't really have a doubt, that's kind of the wrong word, but I am a little scared for the future. I mean, who isn't, honestly? Like, we're all kind of young. I mean, if you're watching this, you're around my age, I would think. But, like, even then, even if you're, like, 25 years old, 30, like, some people just don't have their life figured out, and I feel like there's such a pressure to like always have your life figured out at all times, but like that's so unrealistic. And me personally, I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing. I have ideas, of course, like it's good to have a little baseline of what you kind of want in life, but other than that, like I'm kind of just like going as I can. I'm doing school and stuff. I'm doing this YouTube channel, which has been keeping me really busy, which I really like. And I also am going to be having a full-time job like I talked about. So that's kind of as life is going right now. But as for my physical insecurities, I would say that I really hate my nose. I don't really like to encourage insecurities and like what to be insecure about. If you have nothing that you're insecure about, then go you. Like, that's so good. But, you know, a few years ago, I used to be super insecure about my figure, about how I looked. And like body dysmorphia now is like a super, super big thing. And I feel like everyone talks about it, but there's a big like picture that society has of like the perfect this and the perfect that. And everyone gets insecure, I guess you can say, when not every single one of those is living up to that expectation. And, you know, that honestly sucks. I don't know if that's ever gonna change. I feel like it's kind of always been like this, now more than ever, because everyone's more online and like, you know, kind of engaged into like a device or something like that, and engaged in social media a little more. So I mean, what else can you possibly think if all you're looking at is like, you know, the idea of what perfect really is? And honestly, I feel like perfect shouldn't really have a definition. And I know I'm getting like really deep, and I know this sounds super cliche, but I feel like everyone has a different idea of what perfect really is. So I don't know. For me, my insecurity before, I'm getting better at it, was, you know, my body, like I mentioned before. I used to think like being bloated and stuff, like I'd feel like the ugliest person ever, which is so bad. And I'm getting better at it now, honestly. Like when I eat like a full course meal, of course I'm gonna be bloated. Like it'd be not normal if I wasn't, you know? So that's something I've been working on. But yeah, everyone has their flaws that they think, and it's just kind of something you have to grow to like love and appreciate. So yeah, moving on. Back to a more lightful subject, and that is what I like to do for fun. Me personally, I really, really like to go to the beach. I've been liking the beach a lot more. And real quick, I also want to bronze up my face real quick because I feel like that did absolutely nothing. I didn't say the e.l.f. Putty bronzer was good, so keep that in mind. I'm now using the Hoola bronzer that everyone knows by Benefit. But yeah, what I like to do for fun. I really, really like to go to the beach, like I mentioned. I don't really have a lot of friends to go to the beach with. I actually have no friends to go to the beach with since I'm literally across the whole country. I really, really enjoy spending time with myself and like being my own company because I feel like as I was growing up in high school, I never really had a lot of friends. I never had a good solid friend group that like kind of like stuck with me, which is, it's one of those things. It's not really anything that like matters now, but I've always been kind of the odd one out. I've always been left out of things like that. And that is kind of why I've grown to like love spending time with myself, because at the end of the day, you're kind of all you have. I feel like that could be a really, really good thing if you look at it in a different light, because I feel like a lot of people look upon spending a lot of time with themselves as a bad thing. I mean, honestly, if it gets too excessive, it could be a bad thing. But like once you actually grow to like to spend time with yourself, it gets really enjoyable and like super humble. So, oh yeah, I've been really enjoying spending time with myself recently. That's definitely one thing. I also like to watch, I don't really like to watch movies, honestly. I'm not really much of a movie person, to be honest. I've kind of just like hated it, so I never really watch movies. I've talked about the ukulele. I like to do that. I like to go to the pool. I like to go shopping when I actually have the money to do that. I love going to Sephora. That's actually my favorite makeup shop ever. I mean, what other makeup shops are there, to be honest? But I really, really like Sephora, so I shop there all the time. I always find myself spending way more than I need to at Sephora, so it's getting really bad. Alright, next I'm gonna do my mascara. I have been really into heating up my eyelash curler with a lighter. I didn't really think that would work, but it actually does, and I cannot find my light. Okay, here we go. And the mascara I'm using is the Essence Lash Princess Sculpted Volume. This is the purple one. And I honestly forgot what my last thing that I said was, but I'm just gonna start off by saying another thing about myself, and that is that I'm a huge believer that whatever you put out there, you will receive. I feel like there's a lot of controversy to that. Like, some people just, you know, think that, you know, it's not really like that. But me, I don't have a religion, so I just wanted to put that out there. But either way, I am a big believer that, you know, whatever you put out, you will receive, like I mentioned. And that is a good or a bad thing, honestly. I feel like the more good that you put out to the world, the more that you'll receive. Kind of like karma. So I feel like karma is a thing that can either, you know, hurt you or help you. So for me, I find that whenever I am in, like, you know, a depressive state, I guess, where I'm always thinking like, oh, like the world is like hating me right now, everything bad is happening to me, it continues to happen like that. But whereas if I'm in a good headspace and I'm actually thinking positively and stuff like that, it always comes back to me in just an overall good way. So that's why I always try to put out the best of the best. Obviously, all of us, we have our bad days. We have our more, you know, upsetting days. And that just comes with life, honestly. I know you guys have heard that a million times before. But I feel like, you know, putting more good out there, you'll always get it back. More about YouTube. One of my favorite videos to film is like days of my life, morning routines. I really, really like to film vlog videos. I just like to document my day. And as I talked about before, I like watching people document their days. I like watching people, you know, film their morning routines. I really, really like to film those types of videos too. And honestly, as fun as it is watching them, it's also super fun creating them. So hence why I like to film those videos a lot. Now I wanted to talk about a little of my high school experience. I graduated high school in 2021, and honestly, I hated high school. I had days when I liked it, and I had days when I absolutely despised it, and I feel like that's all of us. But I feel like high school is a lot more bearable when you have like a really, really good foundation of friends and you're friends with like everyone in your class. Like I said before, I was kind of an outcast, which is not a bad thing at all. I feel like now it kind of makes me the person that I am today. And, you know, there's going to be people that are more popular, people that are less popular, and that is just high school. I was really glad when it was over, although I did enjoy my junior year, but when I was a junior, that's when it kind of got cut off because of COVID. So yeah, I was doing all online, so I didn't really get the full high school experience. So I don't want to judge that by that, just because I would love to have experienced like my senior year of high school if I was actually going in person. But it's one of those things, you know, COVID happened, like what can you do about it type of thing, you know? So next I want to put on a little bit of highlight just because, you know, it's always like the last final step. Yeah, also I feel like this video has kind of been just like all over the place. This is like my first time filming this kind of video, so it's all kind of new to me. I do want to make another one of these videos where it's like more in order, but I kind of just like talked about things that I could like think of from the top of my head, so it's like wasn't even written down, to be honest. It was just like in my head, in my brain, and I just talked whatever first came to mind. So my makeup is like pretty much done right now, but I'm gonna set it real quick. And the final couple things I wanted to talk about is, one, my childhood. I feel like that's like what everyone talks about, and I completely like skipped past it. Okay. I'm using the all-nighter setting spray, Urban Decay. Really good. But my childhood was pretty great. I grew up with my mom and my dad, and my little brother wasn't born yet, so it was basically just us three. We lived in England. I had a really, really good life out in England, but the reason we moved here to America was just because England is just, my parents didn't like it over there. It depends on the area you're in, obviously, but we lived in a really, really, you know, terrible, like, rundown area, and my parents, like, weren't happy over there, so they wanted me to grow up and have a better life over here in America, so that's why. I had a really, really good school. The school in England that I went to, it was good. I mean, I really liked it. I had a lot of friends, obviously. Who doesn't have a lot of friends at, like, you know, 6 years old? But yeah, I liked it. I had a really, really good childhood growing up. I was always around my family all the time, which I really liked. I liked being around family a lot because as of right now, since I live over here in America, I have no family over here whatsoever. So I don't really see family, so I'm really grateful to have had that growing up. So yeah, there's not really a lot to say about my childhood, honestly. It was like super eventful, like it was all good things in my childhood, which I was really grateful for. But the final thing I wanted to talk about is grudges. So this is kind of a deep topic, I guess, but as for me, I'm not the type of person to hold a grudge against someone. And if you would have asked me that question 3 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, I hold a grudge to anyone and everyone. And I completely just flipped around, you know, my mindset and how I thought about that. Because if you look at it like this, what do you possibly gain from holding a grudge against someone? For example, you hold a grudge against your best friend because she hooked up with your boyfriend. I don't know, just naming something from the top of my head. What are you gaining from that? Absolutely nothing. And if anything, it's wasting your energy, and you're using that energy to hate someone, to hold that grudge against someone, when really, like, you're always just gonna be in this, like, personal, like, headspace where, oh, like, I hate her, like, she's this, she's that. And it's just such a negative energy that's just kind of in your aura. And it's just one of those things you kind of just have to grow out of. If you're one of those types of people that hold grudges against someone, it could be, like, for me personally, it was because I was kind of down all the time. I was down on myself, and I'm not saying you could be like that, but I'm just saying that's how I was. That's my personal experience from it. And I've never really, you know, I've never gained anything from it. So at this point, whenever I were to get in an argument with someone, me and a friend have a fallout, me and, you know, my parents have an argument, whatever, it could be anything, I just choose to be humble about it. Because honestly, life, I know it sounds so cliche, I literally feel like, you know, queen of cliche things right now, but it really important. It's like something where you just kind of take it as you go. You know, there's a positive gain from it, there's absolutely nothing. I think it's just something that can kind of bring you down as a person, like, what takes energy out of yourself. But that's where I was going with that. But yeah, that concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button, and please comment down below if you actually enjoyed this kind of video. I know it's really different to what I usually film, but if you guys want another, like, chit chat get ready with me where I talk about more topics, maybe not about me, but just about topics, anything else, honestly, let me know, because I will be sure to do so, because this was actually really fun to film. I kind of just like sit down talk videos. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and conclude this video right here, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.